Welcome to After the Checkered Flag here at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts. Lee Diffie along with the GOAT, Ricky Carmichael. So we were talking and dubbing this as Championship Night because it was possible for both the 250 and 450 championships to be won. As far as the 450 is concerned, that's going to go to next week in Denver, Colorado. Eli Tomac simply needed to beat Jason Anderson. He did not. So that will go to his home state of Colorado. However, in the Monster Energy AMA 250 East Championship, there was a brand new champion crowned. The 18-year-old Australian, Jet Lawrence. You have spoken very positively about this guy. You have heaped him with praise. He is now a champion, a Supercross champion to add to his outdoor motocross championship. What has impressed you about him so much this year?
Well, I think I go back and I look at the progressions that he made, mistakes that he's made the last couple years, and just how he's been able to evolve, how he's able to control his emotions early on in those races. When he gets a bad start, he really takes his time, lets the race come to him. That's hard to do when you're someone like Jet Lawrence, where there's all this buzz around him. He knows he's good. He knows he has a lot of talent. He knows that he's got a bright future ahead of him. So to be able to control those emotions, it's tough to do at that age. I mean, really, he's still a little kid, in all honesty. So I take myself back to when I was 18, and it's tough to do that. And that was what really was fun for me, to watch him progress in that regard, and how he's been able to handle certain different battles, like today with Austin Fortner coming down to the wire. He just really didn't push the issue. He was letting things come to him, and I think he has a very bright future. We all know that. Alongside of his bike skill, that guy does everything beautifully. He even falls down beautifully. So we talk about that quite often. But
his dismount today was beautiful in qualifying.
I will tell you, the guys that he's going to be racing the next 5 to 10 years, they're going to have their hands full.
So I always hear you talk about his bike control, his skills, his feel for the bike. Then you have his racecraft. So I've never asked you this, so I don't mean to put you on the spot, but that's what After the Checkered Flag is about. We can kind of chat around about. Excuse me. Who does he remind you of? Is there a little bit of you? Is there a little bit of Jeremy McGrath? Is there a little bit of James Stewart? Is there a little bit of Ricky Johnson? Is there a little bit of Bob Hanna? I don't know. Like, where you go wherever you want with this, but who does he remind you of? Or he doesn't remind you of anybody. He's his own person.
Yeah, I think he's his own person. I was thinking about all these great riders you just mentioned. James Stewart, Jeremy McGrath, Bob Hanna, Rick Johnson, Johnny O'Mara. I mean, he has little bits and pieces of all those guys, but I really, truly believe he's his own guy. He's a new generational rider. Like, I go back to, let's see here, Jeremy McGrath. He changed the game. Then I wouldn't say that I really changed the game as far as technique and riding style, maybe physical fitness-wise aspect. But then I go to another guy that kind of transformed the riding, and that was James Stewart. I feel that Jet Lawrence has that same effect. I feel like it's a new style type of riding that a lot of the young kids 5, 6 years from now coming up will be riding at his level and doing the same things on the motorcycles that Jet does now.
So your old rival and your good friend Chad Reed was, and I use the past tense, the only Australian to win a Monster Energy AMA Supercross Championship. I told Jet that yesterday. I said, how do you feel about joining Chad Reed if you're able to clinch it? And he said, oh, I didn't know that. So for him growing up in Australia as a fan and, and idolizing Chad, he joins Chad as that. What do you think that would mean to your old mate?
I think that he would like it. I think when it's someone who is as skilled as Jet, I think that Chad really appreciates his riding, and he respects it. And I think that's part of it. I think when you are a multi-time champion like Chad Reed, and he's Australian, Jet is Australian, I think when you have someone the caliber of Jet, it makes you feel good. And when you have someone coming up that's going to be able to do the same thing you did, you want them to succeed and be a really high level. So I think Chad's going to be happy about it.
So before we wrap it up, there's going to be one more East-West showdown. Look forward to that in Salt Lake City. We'll get to see the Lawrence brothers again. Christian Craig, that West Coast Championship has to be decided. But I know you don't make predictions, but look into your crystal ball. What do you see happening for this new champion? Does Honda HRC keep Jet Lawrence in the 250 category, but put him on the West Coast again and try and get that West Coast Championship so he has both regional championships before he moves off to 450? Would a move to 450s next year if there's room at Honda HRC? Would that be too soon? What does the 5-time champion say about that?
Well, if I was Honda, I I would like to see Jed on the 450. I would still keep him down and defend his championship next year. I still don't think he's ready yet for the 450 next year. I mean, listen, he is super talented, and he's going to have a great career, but you can't underestimate how grueling and gnarly the 450 class is. And just 17 rounds, it's tough to do that.
Right.
Okay? I don't care how good you are. There's not a lot of guys that can do it. So I think he still needs another year of experience at winning at this level. But on the opposite coasts, he should ride a 450. That's why I say I'd like to see Jed on the 450 at Salt Lake City. I think it would be a lot of fun to see. Go out there with no pressure and learn. Learn what it's like. Learn how these guys race. They race completely different than what the guys do in the 250. I think it would be a great learning lesson, and he can kind of set his sights on it. We know how smart that Jed is mentally, so he'll be thinking about that for the entirety until a year and a half from now when he goes 450 full time. He'll be thinking about that. He'll have those memories. So that's what I'd like to see Honda do. As far as Faulkner goes, not sure what he's going to do next year, but I think he has a great shot to win that showdown race at Salt Lake City. Future of Monster Energy AMA Supercross certainly looks good with all of this amazing young talent coming through. That after the checkered flag dedicated to the new champion from Honda HRC, we say congratulations to Jet Lawrence. He is the rising star in this championship. We'll see him ride one more time this year. And next week in Denver, Colorado, Eli Tomac has the opportunity to be crowned a two-time 450 champ in AMA Monster Energy Supercross. We'll see you then.